When 2020 was still a thing and I was trapped inside my house, I wondered how did it all come to be. So I looked over and saw the trailer for Resident Evil 3 remake, then it all came together. How could I have been so ignorant? Of course, there must be an evil corporation behind all this. Even though most of the sources say otherwise, but nah, that's all government conspiracy. They are all trying to hide the truth from us, and I won't let that happen. So, TLDR, we will be talking about Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil universe. And are they real? So to give a quick rundown, Umbrella Corporation was a British multinational conglomerate with subsidiaries active in a variety of industries from 1970s to early 2000s. Umbrella had influence in the production and sales of cosmetics, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, industrial machine productions, and tourism. That's random. Umbrella's large array of subsidiaries were purposely built to cover up their illegal activities. Soon after the opening of its pharmaceutical division, Umbrella began developing biological weaponry for military across the world as a part of the worldwide conspiracy to accumulate deadly virus directly prohibited by the 1972 Biological Weapons Convention. Umbrella Pharmaceuticals were able to cover this by researching vaccines for the same virus. Umbrella's true goal was not, in fact, a capitalistic urge for monopolization of lucrative industries, but eugenics. And as for what eugenics are, YouTube doesn't like it when you talk about things like these. But don't worry, I will give you a hot minute to read through. As for how Umbrella did it, the Vesper Project, which was a program to create a new race of virally enhanced and well-educated superhumans who would advance human civilization for generations to come, with the Umbrella founders as their god. That's the Umbrella Corporation for you. But the reason I made this video was to find out if they exist or not. Well, this one is pretty well known, but in case you don't, a skincare company in Vietnam had a fortune of picking the most appropriate logo for their business, a top view of a red and white umbrella. I don't see a problem with that, but I don't think it's a bright idea to associate your business with a company that was working on cosmetics that make you look younger by turning you into zombies. Well, if we ignore the obvious copyright infringement, they got sick publicity from this, and obviously they had to rebrand. A Shanghai-based company, Ruyan Baohusan Biotech Limited, which funny enough is also a pharma that specializes in biotechnology, used this as their logo. The image I showed you was snapped 2 years ago, and if I looked at this image 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh, interesting. But after
Out of growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the US.
It started in China and is now spreading throughout the world.
आज रात 12 बजे से संपूर्ण देश में संपूर्ण लॉकडाउन होने जा रहा है.
Okay, now you have my attention.
Okay, let's be clear, I'm not pointing any fingers at anyone. Shanghai is about 840 kilometers from Wuhan. All I'm saying is how many coincidences is too many coincidences. But the above were just innocent accidents, harmless conspiracy theories. A company that has real malicious intent will never put itself in the limelight like this. And what if I told you we already have not one, not two, but many umbrella corporations doing illegal and unethical stuff right under our noses? And let me put a quick disclaimer here. I'm not hating on any of these companies. I'm not making any information out of thin air. I'm just reading the f***ing Wikipedia page. And if you think you don't understand something or you need more context, and it's mostly Wikipedia, so I don't think it matters. Let's start with the very obvious. You may have heard about this company from the news. MONSANTO. As for why they are so infamous worldwide, let me tell you something about them. MONSANTO is generally known for producing GMOs, genetically modified organisms, having a bad environmental record, using dangerous pesticides, and clashing with local farmers. But before we jump into the juicy part, let me tell you how the company came to be. In 1901, Monsanto was founded in St. Louis, Missouri. The company's first products were commodity food additives such as saccharin, caffeine, and vanillin. In 1919, they expanded into chemicals such as sulfuric acid and PCBs. Okay, seems like a natural progression for a chemical company. In 1936, Monsanto operated the Dayton Project and later Mond Laboratories and assisted in the development of the first nuclear weapons. In 1960, Monsanto was the producer of Agent Orange for United States Armed Forces operation in Vietnam. Oh no. Humble beginnings indeed. But what I want to talk about is the Terminator. In 1998, Monsanto announced plans to acquire a seed company called Delta Pine and Land Company. Delta Pine had developed a patented seed that could only propagate once, meaning it cannot be replanted by farmers, forcing them to buy fresh seeds every year. Let me put it like this. Imagine farming, but it's pay to win. As for what happened to Monsanto, in 2016, Monsanto was a subsidiary of Bayer, a German multinational pharmaceutical and life science company and one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, which doesn't have the cleanest history either. I mean, it's never a good thing if your company has had any relationships with he who must not be named. Sorry, wrong one.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Pfizer.
So, what's Pfizer? I'm glad you asked. Pfizer is an American multinational pharmaceutical corporation. Pfizer also happens to be the world's largest pharmaceutical company and was ranked 64 on the 2020 Fortune 500 list of the largest US corporations with a total revenue of $47.6 billion. Well, for starters, a federal lawsuit was filed by scientists claiming infection by a genetically modified virus while working for Pfizer, which resulted in her being intermittently paralyzed. McLean of Deep River suspects she was inadvertently exposed through work by a former colleague in 2002 or 2003 to an engineered form of lentivirus. Playing with genetically mutated virus, classic umbrella tactic. As for some of their recent shenanigans, in February 2021, after a year-long investigation relying on unnamed officials, Pfizer was accused by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism during negotiation to acquire COVID-19 vaccines. Pfizer bullied two entire countries to put their assets as collateral for COVID-19 vaccines. But the one that caught my eye was this. In 1996, an outbreak of measles, cholera and bacterial meningitis occurred in Nigeria. Pfizer representatives and personnel from a contract research organization traveled to Kano to set up a clinical trial and administer an experimental antibiotics to approximately 200 children. Pfizer did not tell the parents their children were getting experimental drugs. Guess what the board meeting must have been like? Well, sir, we just developed this new antibiotic. Should we conduct human trials on people who have consented to participate in a controlled environment for a small price and we are 100% liable if anything were to happen to them? Or we can just test it on Nigerian children who are suffering from an outbreak. But sir, that doesn't sound like who you want your job. Local officials reported more than 50 children did not make it due to the experiment, while many other developed mental and physical deformities. Well, the script is reaching the word limit and I still need to edit this video, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching.